Hi, and welcome to the section on managing our world. It is great having you here. Great job already. In the previous section, we learned about various testing strategies. In this section, we will see how we can set up a server-side infrastructure, how we can manage the way our world in the game looks like by changing the data in a NoSQL database and asking for data with a REST API. We will first set up a REST API. Then we will look at how to manage MongoDB. We will then look in how to write basic queries for MongoDB, and last, we will connect everything together in our application. Now, we move on to the first video of this section that deals with setting up a REST API. In this video, we're going to take a look at the basics of Dart.io. We will see how to use Shelf and RPC to create some REST endpoints. Then, we will return JSON data with our REST API. First of all, we're going to create a file, server.dart, and we're going to add it into a folder called lib. Later on, we will see why added it into folder lib. Every Dart program has a main function. In this main function, we're going to start an HTTP server. You will notice that we're using asynchronous programming. Here, with the two keywords async, await. Now we can start our Dart program. When we now go to the localhost :8082, you will see that our web server works. It prints out Hello World. This is not a REST server. This implementation is to lower the level. Let us take a look at the Shelf package. The next step is including the dependency of the RPC package. Now, we need to do a pub get in our lib folder. Now we can change our Dart.io code a little bit to work with the RPC codes. We instantiate an API server. Also, we need to import our RPC package. And pass this object to the server object. Now, we need to implement our API. In some companies, you have a software architect that will design APIs for you. In our case, the API is very simple. We will accept an X and Y coordinate and return some information of the environment based upon these coordinates. First of all, we're going to design a class world. This class is going to represent our API. With the annotations of the RPC package, we can set up an API very easily. First of all, you need to define a version on your API. Then, in that API class, you can define API methods. In our case, we define a world info method that returns info based upon X and Y coordinates. This API returns a terrain object. The REST API method can be a get, a post, put, head, delete request, depending on what that method does on the server. On a put, you are mostly going to update the data that was sent to that REST API method, for example. In our case, we use a get method because we ask for information to our API. Now, we need to add our world class to our API server object in the main method. Now, we can restart our server again. When that is done, we can look at our result in the browser. When we go to the correct URL, we can see the results of our work. What is REST API? REST stands for Representational State Transfer. It is identified by Universal Resource Indicator, and it has methods get, post, put, delete, head, and so on. In this video, we have seen how to set up a REST API with Dart and some other facets of Dart.